Welcome to the HappyNessa 1111 channel, where we are committed to happiness, connectedness, and being you authentically and unapologetically. Excuse the voice. It is 12:30 p.m. when I'm recording this video, but I slept in today and got up not too long ago. But I wanted to prioritize on making this video, and let's get going. So of course I want to go ahead and encourage anyone who hasn't already to subscribe. It really helps us YouTubers when you hit that subscribe button, even if you're someone who doesn't plan to watch the videos repetitively on a particular channel. If you just happen to want to support someone and express your appreciation for their content, you can do so by subscribing. That's the best thing that you could do. You can also help them by hitting the like on the video, or you can also comment. And so for a lot of us, when you comment, it's not just a boost for our video. It does help with the YouTube algorithm, but we do want to engage with you all. So I definitely want you all to give me feedback about what you're looking forward to, or just different ideas of what you want on the channel, any questions, or, just to create that community and connection. Like I mentioned, as far as that's one of the themes of this channel, is I want this to be a community of connection. So I do want us to engage with each other, and I want y'all to have some thoughts about what is said, what is not said, and maybe other data or just information that I'm not aware of. You can also bring that to light in the comments. So those are the ways you can support any YouTuber: subscribing, liking, or commenting. Thank you in advance. Of course, I want to go ahead and plug and highlight the types of videos that I do on my channel. So on my channel, we have currently, at the time of recording, 5 that are being uploaded every month. Eventually it'll get to 6. Those 5 include a Mental Health Motivation Monday video. That's going to be the first week of the month. That video is primarily self-explanatory, all things mental health related. And the Tuesday, so I have a Let's Talk Tuesday. That typically is a video that is elaborating on Monday's video in a less formal manner. This video is a weight loss and management Wednesday. I say weight loss and management because a lot of us have already lost the weight, or a lot of others, not me. I'm on my weight loss journey yet again. A lot of people who've already lost weight, need to pay attention to the data, the science, and have accountability and have a support system in order to maintain that weight loss. So that's why I say it's weight loss and management, because managing that weight once it's off is a lifetime journey. And so that's what this video is going to be about. We have Life Vlog, Thankful Thursdays. That's going to be just me showcasing the kids. Sometimes my husband, when he's not so shy, hopefully he'll get in the video sometimes, but he's not always in the videos that much. But yeah, showcasing my life, showcasing life in Florida, showcasing the kids and life as a mother. So many daggone little girls. We've got baby girl number 4 on the way. Biological number 4, but it's a total of 5 girls in the family. My stepdaughter lives with her mom in North Carolina, but the others of us are down here in Florida. And so baby girl number 4 that I'm birthing is due in a couple of months. So lots of girls. And what else? Oh yeah, we also have Soulful Sundays. That's all things spiritual. I'll leave it at that. That's the 4th Sunday of the month. Weight Loss Wednesdays is the 2nd week of the month, and Life Vlog Thursdays is the 3rd week. So 1 video each week of the month for the most part, 5 videos total, because Monday's Monday's Mental Health Motivation and Tuesday's Let's Talk Tuesday is going to be the 1st week of the month. And that's how I'm going to leave it for now. Eventually I'm going to get to a Financial Freedom Friday, and that would be 6 in a month. And then once I have the time and consistency, and once I'm able to actually edit the videos professionally and get all those jazzy things going, then I'll challenge myself by doing more videos each week, which at some point I'll get to probably 5 or 6 a week. And they might be a little shorter, just to help me with time management, but I think that's definitely a doable thing for me to have 5 to 6 videos every single week. And yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so I've got my notes down here on my laptop so we can follow the plan. First and foremost, so important, I got to start with this disclaimer. I am not a doctor. No. I'm not a doctor. I am I will call myself a mental health professional, but I'm a lot of things, and I want to be very careful with labeling myself certain things. And I'll say I'm a mental health professional loosely. I'm not a licensed psychologist or anything of that nature, but I do have enough studies and experience to help people with their mental health. But I still always recommend that, of course, if you're dealing with something serious or just really need some individualized advice, consult your own therapist or mental health professional of your choice that can work one-to-one with you. And then when it comes to physical health, I am not a MD. I'm not a medical doctor. And so I definitely am going to be sharing my experience, but this in no way should replace any advice that is given to you from your primary doctor or your OBGYN or any other doctor that you're working with. Yes, so this is my advice. Yes, it is based on data, but always seek your own medical advice directly and supplement that with information that you get from YouTubers and Google and other things online. So yes, disclaimer. All right, so I want to go over this topic specifically is weight loss during pregnancy, right? And what I'm going to start with is the trends, right? So typically speaking, most women, no matter if they're underweight, within normal range, overweight, obese, whatever they start off with, most women, no matter what they start off with, are, excuse me for a second, most women are gaining weight during pregnancy. Now, here's the thing. Not all women are recommended to gain the same amount of weight. A lot of times we hear these general rules about, being pregnant is an extra 300 calories a day. So some women of all sizes just go ahead and incorporate that plus more and then gain way more weight than they want to and then struggle with losing the weight afterwards. And then, of course, after having a child or more than one child, it's often so challenging to adjust to managing your weight because the lifestyle changes. Going to the gym isn't the same anymore. Your time management isn't the same anymore. So it's definitely something we want to be careful with because it's such a challenging thing as mothers and even as fathers, parents in general, guardians in general, to care for a child and still care for yourself. So yeah, we've got to be careful, but anyways, when it comes to the trends, yes, most women are gaining weight. Most women just think, oh, I'm eating for two. Some people want to splurge and treat themselves, which I get that. But then again, you pay for it sometimes if you don't have that fast metabolism or if you gain too much weight during that pregnancy. So what basically happens since most women, since the doctors do not encourage all women to gain the same amount, typically is they'll look at what your weight was before you became pregnant. So if before you became pregnant, you had let's say if you were underweight, then they might encourage you to gain more than average, more than the normal weight range woman. So for an underweight woman, I don't know what it is specifically, but I think it's like you might be encouraged to gain 30 pounds or more, which is a lot of weight. Or if you're carrying twins, you might be encouraged to gain 30 pounds or more. If you're normal, and don't quote me on this, like I said, I'm just throwing the number out there from memory, it's probably slightly different. If you were within normal range before becoming pregnant, they might recommend that you gain, let's say 20 to 25 pounds or 15 to 25 pounds. If you were normal range. And then if you were overweight or obese, they might recommend that you gain 5 to 10 or 15, a little bit less. Or some doctors nowadays, actually before nowadays, because with my oldest she's now 11 years old. Even when I had her, they told me, although I had lost some weight and I was in okay shape for my size, I was still technically overweight. And so with technically being overweight, they said I probably didn't even have to gain too much at all. And that would have been fine as long as I did that, within reason. As long as I wasn't doing anything too extreme, then she should grow and be just fine because of my weight. So if this isn't obvious, what I'm saying is for us ladies who got a little extra weight on us, basically the baby can use the extra fat and the extra pounds that you have to grow. The only thing is, no matter what your weight is, how that baby is growing and how nourished they are is going to depend on how nutrient dense your diet is. So while the baby is, resilient and can, get those calories, you want your diet to be nutrient rich. And that, of course, impacts the baby, but it also impacts you. If the baby's going to get what they need no matter what, for the most part, sometimes babies do struggle with gaining the weight. But if they're gathering all that stuff out of you, then, of course, that's going to leave you in a deficit if you're not having a nutrient dense diet. So it's definitely a time to, of course, increase the good stuff. So yeah, that's the difference. They're going to recommend different things depending upon what your starting weight is. Excuse me. I'm doing a lot of that during my videos. I blame it on the pregnancy, the indigestion, or I'm not having too much heartburn, which is a good thing, but I do got some stuff going on. So yeah, not all women are going to be recommended to gain the same amount of weight. So, look into that. I'm sure your doctor, once you get to those doctor's appointments, if you are a woman who's pregnant, they are going to give you a very specific target. And even if that target, even if they're, even if it doesn't fit with what other research is saying, then have a conversation with your doctor, because some doctors might still be a little bit more old fashioned and say, even if you are overweight or obese, yeah, still gain 20, or they might recommend something that doesn't really fit well with you. Then you can just have that conversation, and I'm sure they'll work with you and just tell you how to either lose or maintain your weight during pregnancy in a safe way. So just a little plug, I kind of mentioned this earlier, but excuse me. But I know y'all have heard this a lot lately too. Back in the day, women would always say, well, I'm eating for two, so I can have this extra donut a day, or I can have, 2 bowls of this instead of just one, or 2 servings at every meal. Well, that's not exactly how it works. 300 calories, even for a small frame woman, is not a whole meal. That's not a lot of calories. And what also is happening now, doctors are recommending that you're having that extra 300 to 500 calories towards the end of pregnancy, like somewhere later in your second trimester, and then through your third trimester, where the baby is growing a lot bigger and faster. So I feel like back in the day, what it seemed like is the general knowledge was have that 300 calories a day through all 3 trimesters starting off, right? But now it seems like most women are able to get that kickstart with pregnancy and have that baby grow during the early phases without adding any extra calories. And so it makes sense to me that we want to be careful with the data and how we're approaching this pregnancy weight gain or weight loss or weight management thing. Because again, you can enjoy yourself now, but for some of us who have a harder time losing weight, or I won't say have a harder time, for some of us who maybe don't have a fast metabolism and don't just, lose weight that easily, or don't metabolize carbohydrates or certain things that easily, we do got to be careful, So anyways, eating for 2 does not mean you're eating 2 servings or eating for 2 adult portions, 2 adult calories worth a day. It is only 300 extra calories, which I think is pretty common knowledge. And if it isn't common knowledge for you, surprise, surprise, on that awesome information that it's only 300 calories a day. Let's see what else is on here. Yeah. So previously, when it comes to trends, another trend is that previously doctors were very hesitant to recommend women to either maintain or to lose weight when they were pregnant, even if the women were like super obese or just really overweight. They didn't have enough data to recommend weight loss because they weren't sure. They were not sure. I think that's proper grammar. They were not sure whether it was safe. And so we're all about safety. And of course, doctors are all about safety first. We don't want to recommend anything that's going to harm the baby. And so let's wait and see what the data shows. And so now the data reveals that a woman can safely lose weight moderately and at a decent pace while pregnant without compromising the baby's health. And there's also, excuse me, London, I am doing a video, and I already told you that, ma'am. But there's a meal. I don't care. Sure, you can get it and close the door right back. We got some Amazon delivery or something, apparently. Excuse me, I'm gonna click. You know what? Let me just stop it for a minute. Okay, I'm back. So I was talking about trends, and the last little bullet point is about how doctors were very hesitant in the past to recommend weight loss to women who were overweight and obese because there wasn't enough data to reveal if it was safe. Would this compromise the health of the baby? Would we have benefits that outweigh any risks? And so basically, for those of you who are not aware, if you are, obese, which I believe the statistic now is that 1 in 3 women in America are obese. So if you look up the BMI chart, Basmati, what is that called? BMI, what does the B stand for? Something mass index, I believe. Body mass index, I believe. So if you look up your BMI, that's your weight with your height, I believe are the 2 things that they're looking at, then a lot of women, 1 in every 3 in the United States, are typically obese. A lot of women you wouldn't look at and think they're obese just because maybe they have more muscle, which actually weighs heavier than fat, or they're taller or whatever. So, but the tallness, the height is supposed to be calculated. Anyways, all I'm trying to say is you'll be surprised at which women will be categorized as obese given this calculator. So it isn't the best, but it is what it is. And there are correlations when it comes to reaching that obese length. So once you are considered obese, you are at higher risk for a lot of different things while pregnant. Although again, higher risk doesn't mean it's going to happen, or even, like a 10%. It could go from, like, let's say if you're not pregnant, let's say there's a 2% chance of this happening and it goes to 3% or 4%. So that is a significant increase, but it's still fairly small. So don't, let the data scare you. So anyways, women who are obese often have a higher chance of preeclampsia, eclampsia, gestational diabetes, preterm labor, and other complications. Okay. So the question is, can women lose weight or maintain weight or do certain things that don't harm the baby but help them decrease the risk of those things? And the answer is yes. Now data is showing that women can lose weight moderately, and safely under doctor supervision, and have a lower risk of those things that I mentioned: lower risk of preeclampsia and eclampsia, lower risk of gestational diabetes, lower risk of preterm labor and other complications. So that's awesome news, women. Awesome. So now I want to talk about my experience. So those were my trends about what the doctors recommend, how many, what has typically happened over the years as far as women gaining weight. And now we're going to talk about my experience, because this is pregnancy number 4 for me. So I've got lots of personal information to share. So this is my 4th pregnancy. And thankfully, I am losing weight slowly but surely. And I say thankfully because I reached my highest weight in life right before getting pregnant. Not intentionally, obviously. Reasons for that weight gain were a lot of changes going on, a lot of stress during that phase of weight gain, which even if you're working out or eating decent, stress can also cause weight gain and slow down your metabolism and do things that aren't ideal for weight loss and management. So stress, lots of changes, moving around, moved to Florida, stopped teaching my exercise classes. It's been over a year now that I have not been teaching my exercise classes. I went a certain time period, even with being pretty sedentary, working from home during this job that I had when I moved to Florida. What else? Eating, not a big, huge factor. Like, I don't think I've ever been more recently, after learning and losing weight several times in my life, I've learned to have some more discipline and willpower. So I can't say that I've been the worst eater, and that's why I've gained the weight and reached my highest, because I've still been very intentional about making sure I'm eating healthy things every day, drinking lots of water, but I still have had too much of the bad stuff. I've had too much of the bad, when not pregnant, too much wine during those stressful time periods. And obviously, it caught up with me, and not enough exercise. And so anyway, so with me reaching my highest before, and excuse the kids if you can hear them. Let me pause it again. I'm back. So yes, reached my highest weight before this 4th pregnancy. Thankfully, I am losing weight consistently, and I feel very motivated with the process. And it's working really well for me. I think what I'm doing now is going to be something that I stick with for the rest of my life, because I enjoy it and it's working so well. It's working better than anything I've ever done, although I have lost weight, I will say, twice before now. This is my 3rd time in life having a significant weight loss. And I've dealt with weight issues since a child. I've didn't have the biggest metabolism, and then also wasn't as active. I'm someone who needs to be active to maintain my weight. Or if I'm not active, I need to have a very low-carb diet. That's my body type. So with this pregnancy, what am I going to talk about? Yeah, what I'm doing. So what I'm doing is keto cycling. So I'm doing keto, strict keto, limiting my net carbs under a certain amount for either 5 to 7-ish days straight. And then I might take a day or two, sometimes longer, but typically only a day or two, and enjoy some carbs within reason, which I guess someone would call a cheat day or a carb day. And then I get back to it. Now, one thing I'll say is I haven't done in-depth research on keto cycling specifically, so I don't really know how many days I'm actually in keto, because it takes time for your body to transition in and out of keto. So I don't know, out of those 7 days, or let's say if there's a 9-day period, and out of the 9 days, I did 7 days clean and 2 days carbs, I don't know out of those 9-day periods how many are actually keto, but all I know is it's working for me. So the reason why I'm doing the cycling is because I did the straight keto for a while, not a while, let's say for a few weeks to a month, or maybe a month and a half, and it was awesome. But then it got, of course, boring because there's a lot that you cannot include. And of course, we're human beings and we love carbs. That is the body's preferred energy source is carbs. So it's natural that you would miss them and crave them, and all of that. So of course I got back to that point, especially while pregnant, with pregnancy cravings. And so what I did instead of getting completely off of keto is thought about other ways that might work since it's working so well. So one, I said I got to increase my variety. So just doing the same thing every day for life is not going to satisfy your taste buds or your desires. So I incorporated and did more research into some keto-friendly meals. So there's so much more that I'm cooking now and prepping now, and snacks that I have on hand that are low carb that help. But then I said, also, I'm going to let myself live life and enjoy myself. I don't think I can. My personality, some people maybe could go years and just do super strict keto, but I don't think that'll ever be me. And that's just my personality in general. Like, I've tried a lot of different things. I was a pescatarian at one point, which is like a vegetarian, except for you allow yourself to have tuna and fish, and shrimp, sometimes. Excuse the kids. I'm about to make them go to the room. They keep screaming. So I've done a lot of different diets. And at the end of the day, what I will call myself is a flex person. I'm very flexible. I found something called a flexitarian who was like, you can still have the health benefits and still contribute to the environmental and earth benefits by being a flexitarian and eating less meat. So while there are obvious benefits that happen for Mother Earth and your body and health, when you don't eat any meat, there's also benefits that happen if you eat less. And so I went through a phase of being a flexitarian where some meals or some days didn't have any meat. Now I'm pretty much back to meat almost like pretty much every day, not necessarily at every meal, just because I think it works best for my body and weight loss. And so keto cycling, you can look it up. Keto, how I would describe it, is just a very low carb, high fat diet. You do have some options though. I do a high fat and high protein because I know from previous experience the 2 times previously that I lost a lot of weight. I did so more easily when I limited my carbs, maybe not as extremely as I'm doing now, but limited my carbs and focused on high protein, high veggie, which is so similar to what I'm doing now. But again, it wasn't as extreme. I still allowed myself to have oatmeal and just different things that I'm not really having now on my keto strict days. So that's keto. Keto is, let's say, keeping your net carbs under 25 to maybe 50. I don't know what it is. I think it's 25-ish net carbs a day. When I say net carbs, what I'm talking about is when you read a label on a food or when you look up the nutritional value on a food item, it's going to give you overall carbohydrate grams, right? So it'll tell you this food item has X amount of grams of coming from calories and grams coming from fat versus protein versus carbohydrates, because that's what food is comprised of, right? So when you look at your carb content, it'll say this food has 6 grams of carb and 3 grams of fiber. So what us keto people are doing is we're subtracting, or the app can do it. You can download an app, on your phone. The app will subtract the fiber from the carbs to give you your net carbs. It's because fiber counts apparently in this formula. When it comes to putting your body into ketosis, which I haven't even said, is a fat burning zone. So the reason why why we're doing keto, because in theory, which is working for a lot of people, is that keto is when your body starts to use, ketosis is when your body starts to use ketones for energy instead of carbohydrates. And in that process, it means that your body is burning fat, stored fat, instead of carbohydrates, which is awesome. Yeah, so that's keto. Keto cycling, like I've already mentioned, is just when you might incorporate some days or moments of carbs while getting back into keto. Other than keto and low carb, what I'm doing also is tons of water. Water is so essential to weight loss and weight management. So many times when you think you're hungry, so many times when you think you have a stress headache, or when you think you're tired, all these different physical feelings and even mental feelings, bad moods, and all of these things that we can experience come from dehydration. Your body is comprised primarily of water. Your body needs water. And so I get very preachy teachy about water and hydration. Some people are able to achieve great things without, proper water management, which is amazing. Maybe that's just their body type. But for most of us, controlling our hunger, our mood, our energy, all those things, so many other things, are connected to proper hydration. So that's something I've never compromised in a long time. I've done pretty good with hydration, although depending upon what I'm doing in life, I have struggled. So for example, there's been times where I've donated plasma, which takes a lot of liquids. It takes the liquid portion of your blood out of you. When I was doing that, I was hydrated, but I think I could have really done better. And so that was hard for me to stay hydrated while being a certain size. And actually, there was a time period, the most challenging time period was when I was teaching Zumba and dance mix, donating plasma, and pumping breast milk. That is a lot of things. That's a lot of liquids leaving your body. And it was difficult to drink. It felt like I was supposed to just chug water all daggum day. So yes, it is challenging, even though I know the data, it is challenging to keep up with it. They say a lot of us should drink half of our body weight. So whatever your body weight is in pounds, divide that by 2, and then drink that many ounces a day. Let's say if someone is 180 pounds, that means you divide 180 by 2. That is 90 ounces. That is your baseline. You should be drinking 90 ounces a day, right? Now, what happens if you drink coffee, alcohol, or exercise is you should up that. So if you're drinking coffee, that's a diuretic. That means that makes water leave your body more quickly. It can dehydrate you, excuse me. So certain teas and coffees and certain drinks can dehydrate you, or they're a diuretic. So you might need to increase it to more than 90 ounces if you're 180 pounds. And then also if you're drinking alcohol, same thing, diuretic. And then lastly, if you're exercising, you can find a lot of different recommendations, but a lot of people will say, a lot of personal trainers and people in that field will say, drink about 8 ounces for every 20 minutes of exercise, which is a lot. So if you're working out for an hour and a half or an hour, on a given day, that's another 24 ounces, 20 to 30 ounces right there that you need to go ahead and incorporate on top of your baseline. So it is a lot of water, but I think you'll see a lot of benefits when you do it consistently, right? So hydration is big. What else am I doing? During this phase, I'm finally consistent with essential oils. I've experimented with essential oils in the past, but I was so inconsistent with them, and I had never taken oils that I trusted to take internally. So a lot of oils you cannot take internally, but some brands like doTERRA, which is what I use, is certified therapeutic grade, which I know does mean something. But then again, in this world that we live in, come on now, it does mean something. Labels mean something, but there's so much that goes on behind the scene. It's hard to know what company you can trust, right? How do you know if something's really organic? How do you know if something's really grass-fed? So it is, such as life, because marketing and business makes it that people can, and companies will put a lot of labels on something just to get you to buy it. But I happen to trust doTERRA. And so I take those oils internally on a daily basis. I use them topically through my skin with a carrier oil. And then to a lesser extent, I do diffuse them. And that to me is working. So when I say it's working, what I'm going to cycle back to is all three. I want to say keto, excuse me again. Keto alone drastically reduces my hunger. It was ridiculous how low my hunger was the first month, or even now. There's certain days even now, with even being 7 months pregnant, where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just not hungry. It's crazy. So keto reduces your hunger. I did not know that would be a positive impact before doing it. I think the high fat, especially high protein, I don't know what it is. It's just so filling compared to carbohydrates that just don't stick around in that belly too long. So keto helps me control my hunger so much. Water as well. Being hydrated can give you that satiated, full feeling. And oftentimes when you get hunger pains, it's actually because your body needs water, not food. But thirdly, these essential oils are working. So certain essential oils are going to help suppress your appetite, basically. So you're not going to be as hungry naturally. And here's what I realized. I was wondering, okay, and I'm also taking some doTERRA vitamins, which I think help, but it's hard to tell which factor has the most significant influence, right? It's just hard to tell if you're not doing them in isolation. Here's what I will say. I've done some experimentation on myself, and I will say that keto alone, without essential oils, there's been times where I've done like a week or so or a few days without any essential oils, or the bare minimum, hardly any. And it's still keto alone. The high protein, high fat, low carb kept my appetite under control. Also, on my carb days, when I'm allowing myself to have carbs, since I'm doing keto cycling, I've noticed that if I do my essential oils, and especially certain ones that help balance your blood sugars, ones that are good for insulin levels, if I get scientific with it, and if I get creative, and if I have a higher intake of certain essential oils on my carb days, I still am not that hungry. So it's awesome. It's awesome that these different things that I'm doing, the water, the hydration, the keto, and the essential oils, they're all having an influence. So I'm saying that specifically because I was wondering, are these essential oils really having an impact? Is it just the keto? But even when I'm not doing a keto day, if I don't do the essential oils, then I can feel that, yeah, it's easy for me to want to binge. It's easy for me to want to snack all day and make up for lost time with these carbs. But if I incorporate certain essential oils, which I'll do another video on that, if I incorporate certain essential oils, then what happens on my carb day is that, yes, I enjoy them, but I don't have the urge to binge, and I still get full and feel satiated, which is a beautiful thing because, like most of y'all, we know how to grub down when we want to, but it's nice to have natural ways to help suppress that desire when you're trying to lose weight. So those are the top 3 things when it comes to food and supplements: keto cycling, lots of water, and then essential oils and supplements like vitamins. Outside of that, right now I'm doing moderate to low intensity exercise. And I will say this is moderate and low intensity compared to my past. So for some people, this might be a lot. But right now, all I'm doing is pretty much walking and then doing resistance bands at the house, doing squats and a little bit of strength training at the house some days, and then doing lots of walking. And not even always at a fast pace. So this is so low intensity for me, but because of being at a higher weight, being older, I'm 11 years older now during this pregnancy than I was with my first pregnancy. So obviously, even if I have great pregnancies, which I do and I'm grateful for, this is a different feeling. 11 years later, even if it's a super healthy pregnancy and just better than some that are complicated, it still is different in what I feel. So I'm not beating myself up, and I'm allowing myself to slowly but surely get back to a high intensity or moderate intensity when it comes to exercise. But yeah, I'm just walking a lot. This is coronavirus time right now at the time of recording, so I don't have the option to teach in person. Some gyms are opening up, and I don't know if they're going to be doing classes, but some of them are doing things like doing outdoor classes. I can't be doing it right now, not while pregnant. It's too hot to be teaching classes outside. So I could be teaching online, but I'm just not comfortable. I'm comfortable with getting in front of a camera and talking, but I'm not comfortable with teaching quite yet online, even though that's the goal in the future. So with that being said, those are the 4 things that are helping me lose weight while pregnant: keto cycling and I forgot to mention this, with my doctor's approval. I did talk to a nutritionist and my doctor and a nurse, and all of them said, yes, of course, as long as you're choosing healthy foods, even if it is low carb, and you're not, doing anything extreme, your body's going to be fine. Your baby's going to be fine. So I got all of their approvals, but online, what I saw is that most data didn't recommend it. It just, I think you may be able to find some that says, yes, it's okay, but a lot of it just didn't recommend it. It felt like it was too extreme, but I feel like you need to talk with your doctor directly about that. But here's the thing. I didn't start keto or certain things, keto specifically, when becoming pregnant. I have been doing low carb off and on for a while, so my body is somewhat used to this. This is the most strict I've been with it. So that is a change with this pregnancy, but I have experimented with low carb over the years, and so it's not too traumatic or big of a change for my body. Also, I did not mention intermittent fasting. Over the years, intermittent fasting has provided me intermittent fasting, or just even a daily fast. Like when I say intermittent fasting, that's when you go like 14 to 16 hours or so without food and just drink water or maybe even black coffee. A daily fast or a weekly fast, I don't know what this is called, but a longer fast, I used to during certain phases when I wasn't pregnant and not breastfeeding. I would also do 1 day a week, typically a Sunday, because it was spiritual for me as well, where I would go 24 hours without eating. Fasting, I believe, because it's such a willpower challenge and it is beneficial to my spiritual health, my mental health, and my physical health. But you got to do so within reason and you got to experiment with what works for you. Whether it is like a, 1 day a week fast or intermittent fasting or something else. So, for me, if specifically when it comes to the benefits spiritually, a lot of religions and spiritual belief systems just believe that, I don't know what they believe specifically, but I know it's just tied. I know fasting is tied to spirituality. And I just, with my spiritual connection to God and just my rituals and rhythms, I just feel like it helps me be more aware of my human nature. And if I can surpass that human nature with some willpower, it makes me feel more connected to my spiritual self. Because it takes some spirit. It takes some spirit to get beyond that human body who wants to eat all day, right? So I like the challenge. It's not easy. It takes a lot of time to get to the point where you can fast without being hangry and angry. Hangry, which is angry plus hunger. So it does take some time before you can get to the point where you're not mean while fasting. That could be months, years, or longer. Who knows? But it's a practice to fast without letting it negatively impact your mood, which I again see as a challenge. Excuse me, but once you do get that pattern and once you do have some practice with it, it's awesome to have that willpower and to know that you can do that. When pregnant, no, it's not going to be recommended, okay? Not at all. Intermittent fasting is not recommended at all. I can't say that my doctor has recommended it. I can't say that I even do it on a regular basis, but I'm pretty borderline when it comes to the fact that I'm just already used to not eating within a couple hours before bed. And then I'm also used to not eating within a few hours of waking up. So if you do that math and I'm sleeping 8 or, so hours at night, that does put me in almost intermittent fasting range. But I'm very in tune with my body. I'm in close communication with my doctor. And my baby is growing healthy. She's at average weight. I'm losing weight. And so what I'm doing is safe, but it's not something that anyone's going to recommend. I don't recommend that anyone start, or no doctor's going to recommend that you start intermittent fasting or any type of fasting while pregnant. But you could maybe be more intentional about when you eat. Maybe if you're someone who is typically used to eating right when you wake up, within, an hour of waking up until an hour before you go to bed, maybe you can wiggle that a little bit and get some of those benefits, because basically intermittent fasting and fasting also is supposed to put you into fat burning mode. So for people like me who might have a average to slow metabolism, or, or some people like me who maybe don't burn carbs as efficiently as other people, like my husband, who can have all the carbs he wants without gaining weight. For people like us, it just shifts our body. Intermittent fasting and forms of fasting help shift your body into fat burning mode. And again, be careful if you're pregnant. I wouldn't recommend that you start that while pregnant. I recommend that you tweak a little bit here and there and be more intentional about maybe writing when you're eating and how often you're eating, or maybe tracking it in an app, and maybe having some wiggle room so that you're not eating all day, all day. But you still need to feed the baby at regular intervals, because, fasting and skipping meals and all that has a direct impact on blood sugar levels and just different things when you're pregnant. A more dramatic effect, okay? So, what else do we got here? Let's see. I thought I had some notes on here about the different pregnancies. Let me see what I can find. Oh yeah. So here's a quick rundown of what happened with what happened with each of my pregnancies. So with my first pregnancy, I simply ate healthy most of the time. Yeah. So with Jada, when I was pregnant with her 11 years ago, it was right after I had lost some weight and got in pretty good shape. I was most in shape before getting pregnant with Jada. I was in college. I had a nutrition minor. I was studying a health minor. I was studying health. I had a lot of control over my schedule. I didn't have any bad influences around me, other than, of course, the meal plan, the fact that you can be on campus eating all day, every day, but I just focused on healthy foods at the dining hall. So I had a lot of control over my life at the time, and I was in the gym and very active, and I was at my lowest weight and healthiest when it comes to muscle and all of that before being pregnant with Jada 11 years ago. And of course, I told you that I struggled with weight in childhood and high school, all that. And so when I got pregnant with her, it was right after I'd maybe gained 10 or so pounds. I'd gained a little bit of weight, nothing too crazy, but I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I've worked so hard to lose this weight. I don't want to gain 10, then 20, then 30, not even while pregnant. I'm not going to do that. So let me get back at it. So when I talked to my doctor, he was like, yeah, with your weight, you don't have to gain. You could probably maintain. He didn't say lose, but he's like, you could probably maintain your weight, which is technically losing because once the baby comes, you're going to lose the baby weight. And so that therefore is going to put you at a lower weight than before you were pregnant, right? So he said, maintain while you're pregnant would be fine. Don't do anything too extreme. So I didn't do anything new when it comes to exercise or intense. I just walked a lot around campus. I mean, I walked a ton, and I also did weights and stuff. So during my first pregnancy, I ate pretty good. I still had carbs, and I still had days where I was going out to a restaurant or had junk food. But for the most part, I was eating vegetables every day, small amount of fruits, lots of water, protein. I was doing pretty good, balanced diet. And it was my first pregnancy, so I was super like, oh, this baby needs to have all the nutrients, all the good stuff. So I was doing really good. Second pregnancy, I did really good as well. I ate healthy most of the time. Same thing with some days were junk food, sometimes restaurant food, whatever. But for the most part, most of the time was good food. And I also had a different workout routine. This was the phase where I was really getting into Zumba, and my teachers were high intensity Zumba. So it was like really good. I don't know who's knocking, but I'm doing my video. So don't knock on the door right now. Jada. So I was told it was an emergency, but the baby, not baby in the belly, but our youngest daughter, who's 2, is stuck in a stool, which she's done plenty of times, and we've taught her. So we're going to take this as a challenge for her to get out of that stool or for her sisters to help her. Because she's overreacting right now, but you got to teach those kids to calm down, breathe, and realize you're not going to die in that stool. You just got to twist your little body and get out of there. So she'll be fine. Anyway, so second pregnancy was good, and it was my time of life where I was really getting into Zumba, and I had these awesome instructors, one primarily that I'm thinking of, who knew how to incorporate squats and weights and just different things. Well, weights in Zumba is called Zumba toning, but even if she wasn't doing weights, she always incorporated moves that really helped tone your body. It wasn't just cardio. It was really great when it comes to toning. So that was awesome. I was doing that like 3 to 5 times a week, high intensity Zumba classes. And I can't remember. I know with Jada, my first, I might have gained, I really don't remember. I might have gained 5 of actual pounds, but then after the baby, it was like I was under what I started. With London, it was something similar. I really didn't gain that much. And after having London, I was in really good shape too, especially with producing so much milk. With London, I lost even more weight after having her because I was producing milk for 2+ babies, whereas Jada, I just had milk for 1, and my diet kind of balanced out. With London, I was producing double the amount of milk, so I lost more weight and did well with that. Third pregnancy is baby Talon. And what was I doing? This time of life, I was eating okay, but I feel like I was still maybe not eating as well. I'm older, so not old, but older. So that I think was playing into my metabolism and just different things. I won't say I was more stressed. I mean, yeah, I gotta say I was more stressed because it was, even though I was so happy because that was a phase where me and my current husband, because, I'm divorced and now second marriage, me and my current husband, I mean, it was a good time, right? We're so excited for her. And we were so happy together, even though we had our challenges, especially because of how fast the relationship was moving. But I was happy, but I was stressed and I was emotional and dealing with some hard things such as funerals, deaths. Yes, divorce was the right decision, and having, him and my new family was awesome, and I'm grateful, but it was so much transition that it was weighing on me mentally to a certain extent. And so I think that was impacting my overall mental health and physical health. And like I said, when it comes to the funerals, it was just so much personal stuff going on within my family and extended family, and then his as well. It was a lot back to back. on top of many other things, on top of the other life stuff that we're thrown, right? So with Taylin, I was teaching Zumba. So that's kudos to me. Like I was teaching. It really varied during those 9 months, but it was I think as little as 2 or 3 classes. I think 3 every week, and as much as 4 or 5. So it varied, but I was teaching a lot of classes each week. They were probably moderate intensity, not super high, but pretty good intensity. I've always tried to incorporate squats and different things into my classes as well. And I always show a high intensity option, even if I don't do it the whole time. And I also show modified versions because it's important as instructors, group fitness instructors, for you to cater to your audience. And not everyone in your audience can do high intensity, and not everyone in your audience is going to be satisfied with low intensity. So you got to give them those options. So I gave them the options, and we had a pretty good, workout. Like during all my classes, those who were following what I did, our shirts were pretty wet and all of that. So we sweated a lot. But I wasn't eating as good, still okay, but not eating as well. Stress and other things were impacting, mental and physical health. And what else happened? I think I might have gained around 15 to 20 pounds, possibly. So during the pregnancy, I think I gained 15 to 20. After, of course, I gave birth to her, that was minus maybe 8 to 10. I don't know how much the baby plus placenta and blood and water weight is, but still more than the other pregnancies. And then since then, now that I'm at my 4th, again, I already told you what was going on with lifestyle changes, not teaching any classes, having a sedentary lifestyle with a work from home job that I did for a while, moving to Florida, lots of changes, just so much. So anyways, that's it, guys. This is a long video, as most of mine will be. Most of my videos will be 30 minutes to an hour. Let me make sure I covered everything real quickly. Yeah. And I just want to give another disclaimer and just a reminder. Remember, doctors are not going to recommend that you start anything extreme while pregnant. This is not the time to start anything extreme. Specifically, if you've never experimented with low carb at all, it's not the time to try to start keto unless your doctor is going to really walk you through it. But, well, yeah, I got to say, just talk to your doctor, because they could say, yes, you can start something as extreme as keto, but I wouldn't consider it extreme if you do it the right way and you're, doing high fat, high protein and taking care of yourself. But yeah, talk to your doctor, because that's what matters. And no extreme exercise routines either. Like if you're not used to doing a certain exercise routine, it's not the time to start something that's really out of your norm. You can start something, but gradually work your way into that exercise routine and be mindful of very specific things. Like generally speaking, you're not going to find any doctor or person that's going to recommend you do any type of exercise or workout routine that can potentially cause injury, that has a higher risk of injury, falling. You also, after a certain phase in pregnancy, you're not going to want to be laying on your back doing certain exercises, because when you're laying flat on your back, that compromises the blood flow and oxygen to the baby and also to you as well. And so they don't recommend that during exercise. And also, you'll know, of course, when you look this up, you're not going to be recommended to sleep on your back after a certain point and lay on your back in general, flat on your back, because of that. So yeah, just be careful. Speak with your doctor, with your nutritionist or a nurse. Now is not the time to be experimenting with fasting, unless it's something you've been doing for a while and your body's just used to it. Yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Please like or comment if you would like to support the channel in that way. I do comment, yes, supports the channel, and it gets the video to be circulated more. So thank you for doing that. But also, I really want to hear from you. What are other things you want to hear about? What comments do you have? What replies? What questions do you have? I will be engaged in this channel. Even as it grows, I will spend time, obviously, to engage. Once it grows, what I meant to say is, obviously I won't be able to engage with everyone, but I will be spending time engaging with you all, and I enjoy it. I'm also on other social media platforms, so look below for the links to my social medias: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, things of that nature, LinkedIn. What else? I will be doing videos that incorporate you guys as well, so be looking forward to that. I will be asking you all to give me your little snippets, whatever it's called, pregnancy brain, losing the words, loss of words. So I will be incorporating advice and data and video clips and different things from you all. I will also be doing freebies, lots of different freebies. And what else will I be doing? Lots of things to come. Eventually, once it's not coronavirus time, I can't wait to do more events and meet some of you all in person. I will be working with other therapists, psychologists, coaches, psychics, mediums, people from all walks of life to come together and just do some really awesome things in person, whether it's a seminar, workshop, day retreat, 3-day retreat, whatever it is. We're going to be doing some awesome things in person in due time, okay? At the moment of recording this video, and probably for most of my career, I will not be doing many one-to-ones at all. I will be doing some small group work. So if you're interested in that, let me know. And within that small group work, it could be a little bit of one-to-one, but I won't be having too many strictly one-to-one clients, whether that's for coaching or psychic stuff or medium stuff. But look into and connect with me if you're interested in group things, or if you're interested in being put on our list for events that will happen in the future. And that's it. Thank you guys. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day, evening, or night, wherever you are. Remember, this channel is about happiness, connectedness, and being you. This life that we live is so much more rewarding when you stay true to who you are. So be you, unapologetically and authentically, and you will be happy and you'll be connected. All right. Bye, guys.